Thank you for joining us today for this Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 overview demonstration. Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 introduces the Role Center as the primary work surface and entry point for a user of the business application. I'd like to take a few minutes to introduce you to Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 and provide an overview of how the users can increase their productivity with role-tailored user interfaces, unified communications, and self-service business intelligence. Microsoft has worked for many years to build the customer model and has used this research to provide the 30 out-of-the-box role centers. Each of these role centers features information specific to the job or the tasks that the employee performs. Let's have a look at a couple of examples of the role center and how they can be used to improve user productivity. First, we'll take a look at Charlie, the CEO. Charlie is a typical business executive implementing strategies to help the business grow. Typically, someone in Charlie's role would not use a business application because such applications have been too complex and too difficult to use. Instead, Charlie would rely on the accounting team for all of his information. Now he has direct access to the information that is most important to him for monitoring the business. Specifically, the role centers in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 make it possible for Charlie to see the key business indicators that he is interested in. As a business executive, Charlie won't typically be using the Microsoft Dynamics AX client. He is more likely to use the Enterprise Portal because it's a tool he can use while traveling. The key advantage with role centers is that they display the same information when viewed from the Microsoft Dynamics AX client or the Enterprise Portal. Now, we know that Charlie as a CEO is interested in monitoring key pieces of business information like profitability, but he may also from time to time need to track other statistics. With the role center reports and KPI data, Charlie can pick and choose what information he subscribes to. With a few clicks, he can change the view of the information he has access to. If we take a look at the financial KPIs web part, we can see that he already has a few indicators set up. By using the Manage KPIs function, Charlie can easily remove existing KPIs. This is an important feature for growing complex entities that need to have visibility across the organization's legal entities. For right now, we don't want to cancel any of his KPIs, but we may want to add a KPI. Using the Add KPIs link, we can add one of the many KPIs that are provided out of the box with Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009. With this release, Microsoft provides a range of OLAP cubes across the functionality shipped. In traditional business applications, this has usually been complex because it often involved consulting to build these cubes. In contrast, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 provides the cube out of the box, along with tools to publish the cubes from the business application. We'll take a look at some of these cubes later on in the demonstration, but for right now I just wanted to show you the wide range of information that's available to you. The key point here is that Microsoft has shipped the cube pre-configured with a range of KPIs that can be used to get visibility into the data in the business application. The primary benefit here is that users like Charlie can simply select and subscribe to the cubes that they need to monitor. We have just given a brief overview of the role center experience with a high-level user like an executive. But we know that the users who benefit most from productivity enhancements in the application are the users who live in the application. Let's take, for example, Inga, the purchasing manager. Inga is a business person who must deal with managing the status of orders moving through the system and with reporting and analyzing the status of that information. Inga's Purchasing Manager Role Center is another example of one of the 30 role centers that will be shipped out of the box. The Role Center provides Inga insight into the status of all the purchasing process. You can see on Inga's Role Center that she has some additional visual indicators regarding the status of information that she can work with. For task workers such as Inga, we want the business application to help them easily find and respond to information instead of spending time searching for it. Microsoft Dynamics AX helps them by proactively providing indicators and status information. Microsoft provides web parts such as the Dynamics Unified Work List that consolidate alerts, workflow events, and activities from different parts of the application. The Dynamics Unified Work List makes it possible for a user like Inga to better manage all of the items involved in their tasks. The queues provide a KPI, so to speak, of the documents in the business application. The queue is a visual indicator of the status of these documents. For example, Inga can quickly see the status information in the queue. This helps her decide whether she needs to take action. For example, the delayed purchases. This queue gives Inga a visual indicator that she has an emerging issue to deal with. With one click, Inga can then drill down into the queue and view the associated documents and all relevant information. Let's pause for a moment to think about what we've just done. Simply viewing information and deciding if I need to deal with it, and then being able to quickly access that information, enables workers like Inga to be more productive. We know that these types of users have to work with a lot of information coming out of the business application. With Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009, we're making it much easier for them by using familiar concepts to navigate the system. For example, we know that new generations of users are working with the business applications. We also know that you sometimes have temporary or part-time staff that needs to work with the system. It is typically expensive to train these users. With Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009, we provide navigation features that will be familiar to users who have used a web browser. For example, in this release we have included the back and forward buttons in the navigation pane. These might seem simple, but they let users move around the business application as if they were browsing web pages. Users also have the ability to see the history of where they've been, to select the pages they've already visited. Additionally, we know that the menu systems are sometimes hard to learn. So, we are introducing a new way to navigate the functions with an address bar or breadcrumb bar. I can use this bar to navigate to certain companies, or even to specific parts of the application, like the accounts payable area. And then if we go down and open the purchase orders, we're now looking at a lists page. List pages are a new concept that we're introducing to let you find and filter information quickly. And with an action pane across the top, we're providing a context-aware function system similar to the ribbon concept introduced in Microsoft Office 2007. We see the functions that are available in the list are laid out in a flow similar to the logical process flow. For example, we can see the purchase, receive, invoice, and intercompany across the top. Also, the functions that are available are aware of the context the user has selected. For example, the received functions are only available for open orders. We also know that busy users need to find data quickly. For example, Inga gets a call from Earth Televisions to say that shipments are delayed. She can find all of the orders from Earth with the simple filtering capabilities. We can do this by simply going up to the filter and entering Earth, and instead of going by purchase order, we can search by vendor name. We also know that sometimes you may not know what to look at in all the details of the data. You may just want a quick glance at what the order is. So in Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009, we are providing the preview pane. This saves time by not requiring you to drill down into the details of the order if you don't want to. Now, we know that business people like Inga need to deal with the information quickly after they found it. For example, if Inga has delayed shipments from a vendor, this will affect their business workflow, and she needs to notify people. Inga can quickly open the document from here and see the purchase order details. Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 now has integration to Microsoft Office Communicator 2007. This lets Inga see whether the requisitioner is online. This is a fundamental productivity tool because Inga doesn't need to look up a phone number or an email address. She can collaborate directly from the document. This saves her precious time and allows her to easily collaborate with trading partners, such as customers and suppliers. We know that dealing with contact information can sometimes be a compliance issue. How do you know who you can legally contact? We know that having a centralized view of contact information across your organization is difficult. With this release, we are introducing a new feature called the Global Address Book. The Global Address Book enables you to manage all of your contact data for your organization. From here, you can keep a record of all your contact details, either of organizations or individuals. This prevents individual users from keeping lists that are not available to the rest of the organization. With the collaboration options offered by Unified Communications and with the integration provided with the Global Address Book, users like Inga are able to collaborate more easily and more simply. In addition, the Global Address Book helps the organization manage compliance-related issues on contacting external parties. We know that users like Inga not only need to manage and deal with exceptions, they also must produce their own reports and provide data to other people in the organization. In Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009, we provide multiple ways for people to make sense of the data. For example, each list page we're viewing lets users simply export any of the data on the page to Microsoft Excel. This makes it possible for people to get data into Excel and manipulate it with little training and no need for support from IT to write custom reports. Once the data is in Microsoft Excel, you can use the standard Excel features to format and present the data. For example, let me show you how to quickly change this chart to a Microsoft pivot table. This integration opens things up for more people in your organization to manage the data and make some sense of the data captured in the system, helping to lead to more informed decisions. In this instance, we'll take a look at the status of all of our purchase orders, and we will move the purchase order to our values column. We can easily add pivot chart functionality to this pivot table by going up and selecting the pivot chart functionality. In this instance, we will add a pie chart and the 3D pie chart. And then we can change the style and the chart layouts for however we'd like. We're providing simple integrations, such as the export to Excel, so that the user can have self-service business intelligence tools. We are also providing the user the ability to inquire into Cube or OLAP data for more sophisticated analysis. Again, we know that our users have Microsoft Office and that they're familiar with Excel, so this OLAP data can be used directly within Excel. To do this, we simply go up to the Data tab and choose the Existing Connections feature. Our AX server is selected, so we'll hit Open and OK. So now let's use the pivot table functionality to do a quick analysis of the accounts payable data. We'll first choose the Master Outstanding Amount and scroll down. We want that information with company accounts and with the date year. Finally, we'll want to go ahead and look at that information by vendor groups as well. We can easily filter this information by using one of our selections to the Report Filter field. In the Company Accounts filter at the top, we can choose to filter this information by company location. We can also expand different vendor groups to see the more detailed information underneath. In this demonstration, you have seen the role-based interface design that enables users of Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 to navigate quickly to the functions that they need. The role centers provide a home in the business application that provides the information that is relevant to the user's role. Features such as the Dynamics Unified Worklist change the role that the business application plays in various tasks, making it possible for the user to have a central place to be notified of events in the system. Access to business analytics tools such as Export to Excel and access to OLAP Cube data through Microsoft Excel provide self-service business analytics to suit the different needs of users. Overall, Microsoft Dynamics AX 2009 provides a role-tailored interface that lets users access the data that they need in order to make decisions to manage and grow the business. Thank you.